Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Welcome everyone to USA Global TV and Radio in partnership with E360 TV. This is A Woman's Prerogative, and I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. Thank you so much for joining us. I have a couple of special announcements. If you haven't heard, we have earned the YouTube Silver Creator Award for passing 100,000 subscribers on our first channel. We actually have 102,000 now. And on our second channel, which is Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, we are over 29,000, close to 30,000. So you really like us. You do. Thank you. Please keep subscribing and telling your friends. Tonight's episode is very exciting. We're going to be talking about curiosity. They say curiosity killed the cat, but it's not going to kill us. We're going to have a great conversation about things that we wonder about, questions that we have, and curiosities that we've been looking to solve for some time. Joining me is our full-time panelist and the star of our show. Her name is MARISKA, and she is all the way, as Caroline Hewitt would say, all the way in Australia. I almost said New Zealand, sorry. She is someone I've known for many years now. She's going to be featured in our new book, Broadcasting Brilliance, The Evolution of USA Global TV and Radio. So wait to hear more on that. She is a transformation and leadership coach. She's an ICF and PCC certified coach, and she's here with us today. Welcome. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello, and thank you for having me back. And it's such great news to hear that we have so many subscribers and people watching this channel. So
it really is. You know, it's interesting. We're going to get into the topic, but just thinking about life's mysteries and wonders. I met with Red, you know, our team member, and he's also my book coach. And we talked about the very beginning, because he was here in the beginning, you were here in the beginning, and how much things have actually grown and changed and evolved. And that's because of people like you and people like Red and all of our team members. And I know we've discussed this before, but I think sometimes people think for a television show, you just throw on some makeup, put on a jacket, get your hair done, and you just show up. But it's not like that at all. And you've been doing this for a long time now. What is it, 4 years?
Yeah.
4 years. It's a long time. What would you say are some of the things about yourself, like curiosity? Because when you first did this, when I first asked you, I think you were a little trepidatious about doing it. So how do you feel today, like your evolution from there till now?
I think I have come quite a long way, as well as being a little bit more comfortable in front of said camera. And my imagination is always also improved, because I am now imagining a whole bunch of very friendly, smiling faces at the back of my camera, which is everybody that's looking at our show and watching us on a hopefully daily/weekly basis, and joining us for all the fun that we have. And just imagining the amount of people that we are reaching. When we just started off, it was almost like sitting in a side alley somewhere. Not that it was grimy and grumpy. It's more of it was very lonely. It wasn't a lot of people that actually, I think, noticed us. at all in the beginning, way back when. So it also gave me a lot of permission to do just whatever and try things out. Not that I don't do less of that. I have actually grown to like doing more of that and putting myself out there and trying things out and seeing what happens. And really, you guys are along for the ride. You are, to an extent, our guinea pigs. You get to experience all the weird and wonderful things that we may or may not have shared with other people, or even ourselves sometimes, from time to time. And I am more comfortable to do that on this platform. If I had 100,000 people on a stage right in front of me, not sure what I would do. But in this space, in this platform, thank you, Dr. JACALYN, I have grown accustomed to it. And I now also understand how most of the technology works. I haven't broken anything lately, so I'm good.
I love that. And that was a great analogy about the side alley as well. It's very true. So curiosities, life's mysteries, questions, and curiosities. Let's start at like a big level. So maybe a world view level. Have you ever wanted to climb some kind of mountain, or have you some kind of explorer, adventurer thing, or something that you'd like to see in the world that you haven't seen?
Well, I haven't traveled all that much. So I think for me, something that I would really, really, really enjoy doing is I would really enjoy going to Stonehenge. I know these days, tourist attraction, I get it. I would love to have it all by myself. Just enjoy it, just for me. Then other than that, I think for me, traveling, there's so many places in the world that we see on a regular basis because it's touristy attraction spaces, right? Places where most people want to go. And I also think that there's a lot of not often explored places. So I would actually like to go to those. The ones that's not so often explored. One, because I get to miss all the crowds. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of crowds. As I said, Stonehenge, when I go there, I would really like to enjoy the space for the space, not for the people. So that's one thing that I would really enjoy doing, is going to all these little nooks and crannies and off the beaten path sort of places where I am sure I will get to discover a whole bunch of things and potentially then come back and tell you guys about it. And who knows, then it might become a tourist attraction or not, depending on how far away it is and how difficult it is to get there. How about you, Dr. JACALYN?
Well, I've always wanted to see the pyramids, but I don't know that I will. And I've always wanted to go to Australia. What would you say for people like me who have not been to Australia or New Zealand? What are some of the commonalities, or is basically that they're so different that there's not a lot in common?
Well, for me personally, in New Zealand, I miss the animals, and not because they don't have animals. There's cows and dogs and cats and sheep and stuff, but there's not a lot of wild animals. They do have loads and loads of birds. So if you are into birds, yes, by all means, bird life, there's plenty of that. It is beautiful. Nature is beautiful. They have some of the most spectacular places. That definitely is a place where you can get lost really easily. So if you do decide to go and hike or do any exploring within that space, be sure to be safe. People can easily get lost in New Zealand, especially. So that, to me, really beautiful. The other thing about New Zealand is if you are afraid of any bugs or snakes or anything that could potentially kill you, New Zealand's a really safe place because there is nothing, literally nothing there other than other human beings that might be able to cause you harm. Or, of course, if you get stuck somewhere and you are too cold or too wet or just don't have food. But other than that, there's nothing that can kill you in New Zealand. They don't have any dangerous spiders. They don't have any snakes. There's no crocodiles, nothing that can eat you. So you should be safe to pretty much go and do anything. There's the occasional volcano. But other than that, nature is very, very calm in general. And there's also, of course, the occasional earthquake. So if you don't mind those too much. They're not widely spread and not that often typically, but there's some of them sometimes. So that's New Zealand, really beautiful place. And going to different areas, I love the South Island. So definitely a place to go and explore, and doing it during different seasons as well, because you get to experience it in different, it's almost like it puts on different coats. In the winter, it has one sort of side to it, and in the summer, it has a different side to it. It's really, really beautiful. In Australia, I haven't traveled Australia as much yet. New Zealand's a lot smaller, so easy to travel around. The roads, do be very careful on them though. They are typically a little bit narrower. There's not a lot of places to get off the road if you need to do that. And you need to travel at a fairly slower pace. But hey, you are going there for a holiday, so you can just as well do it in a relaxed style. Australia, on the other hand, there's lots more stuff that can potentially do you harm, of course, if you are in its way and not being vigilant and careful and all the rest of it. So Australia has some of the most poisonous spiders. All the snakes that's native to Australia is poisonous. You do not want to get bitten at all. So please do avoid the snakes. And no, you cannot kill them. If you kill them, you will get fined. So don't kill the snakes either. Just stay away from them in general. Kangaroos, also same problem. They are very, very cute and hoppy and all the rest, but don't go close to them. They do like fighting. There's a reason why they have those little boxing videos with kangaroos. It is safer to stay away, as is most of the other wildlife. They are wild for a reason, same as Africa. It is wildlife. They are not tame, even though they look nice and fluffy. There is loads of space to explore. Australia is one of those places where wherever you come from, this is big. This is really, really, really big. So you can take days to travel from one side of the country to the other side of the country, and you will see a whole variety of different things. So if you want to come and visit Australia, I would be a little bit more specific as to what you want to be seeing so that you are able to pack all of that into your wish list. New Zealand, you might be able to get away with a month and see, I won't say see all of it, but see most of your big hit list things because, well, the country itself is actually just 2 islands. 3, if you count the one at the very, very bottom too. So it is a little bit of a different environment to go and travel. And of course, both countries speak almost English. So you should be okay if you are equipped with some form of English. You might get some colloquialisms, which might not make sense. Don't worry about it. Just look at them like they said something funny and say that you don't understand it. And they will hopefully catch on and explain it to you. That is, of course, after you have tuned yourself into understanding exactly what it is that they are saying. I remember going to New Zealand. It took me about a month to understand some of the people within that space more so than others. So for some, it's really easy to understand. They talk really clearly. And for others, for some odd reason, they swallow their words. Don't know why. And I did find that that was a little bit tricky to understand. You do get used to it though. And the more you listen to them, the easier it becomes. And I am sure that you sit with most probably the same problem with my accent. So there you go. You will get a good education in accents as well.
You had me at no snakes. I'm not going to Australia, then thank you. I'll go to New Zealand and meet you. Well, there was a lot of good information that you shared, and a lot of things came up for me that I was even more curious in finding about. So specifically, there are poisonous snakes pretty readily available, but you can't kill them because you get fined. So what do they do to control the snake environment?
They relocate them. So you have relocation services that you can phone up. So say, for instance, to give you an example, I went into my garden about 2 months or so ago and found a small little tiger snake. It was about as thick as my thumb. Now that's still a baby snake. The thing is, with these guys, it doesn't matter whether it's a baby snake or a big snake, they are equally poisonous.
Oh.
Yes. If and when they decide to bite you, you can, if you are lucky, end up in the hospital for 2 weeks and then get better. If you are not so lucky and it doesn't get treated soon enough, you might, well, leave the planet forever. So very dangerous little snakes, or big ones. They get to be quite big. So I found one in my garden. Luckily, now, if you grew up in a place with snakes, which I did, being in South Africa, not New Zealand, I know what to look for a snake. A snake moves in a specific way. That's different to a worm, right? So I knew when I saw it, it's like, this is a snake. I didn't know what type of snake it is. For me, in general, whenever I encounter a snake, I am cautious. That's the way that I was taught, because you don't know whether it's a dangerous snake or not a dangerous snake. And in South Africa, you also have a whole bunch that's poisonous and then some that's not as poisonous or not deadly to humans. But always be cautious, because you don't know what it is until maybe it's too late. So saw it's a snake, and then I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do with this thing. So I found a removalist, and they asked me, so can you still see the snake? I said, oh, well, no, I tried to get hold of you for half an hour. So no, I don't know where the snake went. So they said, well, they can come out and have a look, but because I don't know where the snake is anymore, they would just suggest, I don't have dogs or children running around in the backyard, suggest that I be cautious when I'm in the backyard, and the snake will most probably move on. So just go through my yard as part of its route to wherever it's going, or on its way to find snacks. And that's what I did. I haven't seen it again. So apparently they are also very territorial. So typically, if you have one and you see them more often than not, it's most probably living in the vicinity somewhere. If, like the one that I had, it just passed through, yay, okay. It didn't decide that it wanted to make my place home, so I'm good.
You know, it's funny that you just shared that about territorial. I was just watching, I think it was yesterday, was a news clip that this woman noticed something in her backyard. I think it was a fenced-in backyard, and I think she had a mulch, something, pile of something, whatever it was, and she saw something moving around, and so there was a snake. So she called the animal services, and they came out. I think they sent someone who was an expert with snakes, and there were 126 snakes living there. 126. So they gathered all of them, And I think they were all poisonous. I'm trying to remember, but they gathered them and put them in this big drum, this thing, and they were going to take them and release them into the wild. But the guy said, the expert said, that they may very well come back because they know how to get, I don't know. I mean, if you're going to take them to another country, like, I don't think they're going to get back unless they're hopping on a plane, which can happen. But yeah, so that's always been a curiosity to me. It's got to be difficult to live in an environment like in the States, in Arizona, they have those little scorpions and they can sting you and they can get in your bed and that can, they can kill you with their sting. So for me, and I was living in Florida where there's a lot of snakes there, and there's those big iguanas, which don't hurt you per se, but that's not something I'm curious about anymore. I'm so happy that chapter is closed because I told you they were living on the roof and we had 12 of them at one time, and we paid the iguana master to come out and get rid of them. And anyway, they kept coming back. It was just, yeah. So I'm not curious about that anymore. But you know what I am curious about is the human body. If you think about it, the human body is so complicated, and yet we can heal ourselves in so many ways. And in some ways, we are our own worst enemy. And what we put into our body can have a major impact on it. And what's incredible to me as I'm getting older and going for various checkups and thinking, yeah, that old heart is in there. It's still working 62 years later. I mean, it is pretty amazing that, and I don't want to get into a discussion about religion or anything, but something created us. And whether you're for people who don't believe in God or they don't believe in a higher power, how the heck did we really get here? I mean, we know the story in the Bible and then there's other stories, but it is absolutely incredible, whatever it is you believe, that something was able to come up with these containers, and we keep populating. More and more of us come as some of us leave. It's amazing to me.
It is. And it's one of the systems. So if you think about anything man-made, right? We typically have a manual for it, a how to use instructions. Whereas our bodies, it doesn't come with a written manual. It still has a how to use me instructions though, because it tells us things. It lets us know when we are tired, now we need some sleep. When we are hungry, I don't know about your body, but my tummy normally tells me when I'm hungry. It's like, yep, I need some food. It tells me things if and when I listen to it. But sometimes, unfortunately, with our daily busyness, we forget to listen. And then the whole instruction manual goes out the window, literally. And it ends up being, we get stressed, we do all sorts of things that's not really helpful for the body. We might be consuming additional amounts of sugar so that we can keep ourselves at the level that we want to perform at. And in the meantime, the body is also telling us that, well, the sugar isn't helping because it gets sluggish, or your brain doesn't work the way it's supposed to, or in my case, I just get a nice headache. So depending on what it is that we do to our bodies, it sort of tells us things. And somebody, big body, designed all of this to work in a harmonious way. And without an instruction manual or a tune-up report every now and again, we get that as we live. We get to experience it and experiment with it. And I know, Dr. JACALYN, we actually had a very interesting conversation just before the show around checkups and understanding what it is that we may or may not need to check for. And I'm wondering, as you have lived some time on this planet now, have you noticed your, I almost want to say your intuitive or your sense with your body, your working with your body, becoming better with age, or is it changing? What's happening for you?
I think it's becoming better, because when I was younger and something would happen, I would just immediately say to myself, well, it's not going to kill me. It's not going to kill. But as you get older, you realize, you know what, it could kill you. So you can't play around with it. And I've never been one of these people, and I'm not judging anyone, but I've never been someone who was really diligent in going to the doctor's office every year to get physicals and do all the things you're supposed to do. But now, as I'm older and I have chronic illness, I do, because I like being here, and I like being here and I want to feel well. So my intuition will tell me, don't wait anymore. Go and get some answers. Because I said to you about something that happened on Friday, and I could have waited until Monday. But I thought, I'm going to be driving myself insane over the weekend. I'm going to be completely stressed out. So go and get the information now, and then have some peace of mind. So that's what I think has really changed for me as I've gotten older, is that I really am searching for solutions, and I'm taking the emotional part that my father would always say, I have high highs and low lows, and I'm just evening it out. And I know there are medications out there that people take to level them out. Well, I'm just leveling myself out. So that's what I find for my intuition is, what is the solution to the issue, and how can I get to the solution? So I think that has a lot to do with my intuition also. My intuition will kind of like, so those spikes come up and go, wow, this doesn't feel well, it doesn't feel right. And in the past, when I was younger, I wouldn't listen to it, but now I do.
Yeah. It's interesting how my mom always used to say that, well, a wet bum will get you sick. So if you play around in the grass and you go nuts when you're little, right, we're like, no, I won't get sick. It's not a problem. But I think the message that she was trying to convey was, take care of yourself, because prevention, one, is better than cure. And if you take care of yourself from an early age, then you don't have to worry about things at a later age. And for some odd reason, and I'm sure this is a human trait, very few of us actually do. We go full out. We jump off things that we know potentially might hurt us, but it will heal. And then when you are old and you are trying to bump said grandchild on your knee, it's like, oh no, my knee can't do that because I played rugby, or insert whatever sport it is that you were into at that stage, and you got an injury. So these things do have a tendency to crop up over time, and our bodies remember really well. They are like elephants. There's a memory that goes on forever. It will stay with you. Whether you remember the fun of doing the thing or not doesn't really matter. Your body will remember that you had fun and you broke something.
Absolutely. And for any of our friends out there who practice yoga, and I haven't been doing yoga very much because there's a lot of different poses combined in some of the other workouts I'm doing, but there's muscle memory. So you did a pose and then your body remembers it and you can get back into it. It might be a little painful or stiff, but the one thing I don't have curiosity about is getting injured. And what I mean by that is I like to learn new things. I like to try new things. I mean, the things that I'm doing now in terms of my workout, I still have the same, we know what I'm not saying, whatever it is, but then there's other workouts that I try that for instance, I did the one workout today, and then I did a bar class, and the bar class, we use these it's a weighted pole and this ball, and it's really fun because you're taking little movements for your muscles and your body, like things that you normally wouldn't do. So I'm good with that. But there's another thing that I could be doing where it's in the center of the gym. They have all this equipment, and then you switch. So you're on the treadmill. And I saw this one guy was going 7 miles an hour. And then you get off of that after a minute. Then you do push-ups. Then I'm like, no. because you could get injured. Now, when I was younger, oh yeah, I was doing that stuff, but not today. I don't need to get on the treadmill 7 miles an hour and then get off of it. And then, they have those box jumps where you stand and you jump onto. No, I don't think so. I'm not curious about that.
Yes, it's almost like well, for me, when I was little, I never liked falling. I don't know. Some people has this ability to walk and fall very often. I would prefer to stay upright because me and the ground connecting all of a sudden, not fun. And interestingly enough, I don't know, Dr. JACALYN, have you ever watched a film and they would do this weird karate move or jump off something, whatever it might be, and they will fall and you can actually almost feel it in your own body, sort of going,
Yes.
"Ooh, that hurt." Like,
Yes.
I know that was potentially a stuntman, but whatever they did, that was painful.
Well, and you read about stories that stunt people get hurt. I mean, they get injured. And, one of my favorite actors, I know he's very controversial, but I like him. I'm just saying, is Tom Cruise. I have watched numerous, I don't want to say they're documentaries, but clips where he's speaking and talking about the various stunts that he's done. Absolutely unbelievable. The guy could get killed on doing any one of them. And one that I just watched, I think it was yesterday, it was in, I think, Ghost Protocol. Have you seen it? Mm-hmm. Mission Impossible. He's holding on to a plane and he's really holding on to the plane. And the plane is ascending into the air. And they had to have special permission to have a camera put on the wing. And I don't know how long it took to get everything in alignment. And he's holding on, gripping on as it's going. And it's amazing. And then another one of his movies, the last one, I can't think of what it was, but he actually is on a motorcycle and he's trying to catch this train where the bad guys are. And he has to jump, he and the motorcycle go off of a cliff and he has to land onto the train. And I think that he practiced that for a couple of years at least. I mean, I am not curious about that at all whatsoever. But what I think is amazing is that kind of curiosity that he must have, or maybe that adrenaline that he's chasing, but that at his age, I think he's in his 60s, 62 maybe, that he's able to do all of those stunts. I just love the guy. So I'm not curious about how he does it, and I'm not curious really about why he does it, but I am curious about when his next film is coming out.
Ooh, yes. Well, we are always curious about that.
Yes, but he does, I believe, belong to the Church of Scientology. So people have issues with him, but I do not. Practice your own religion, do what you want to do. So
exactly, whatever works for you.
Yeah, whatever works for you. By the way, I never took us to commercial breaks. I'm sorry to our sponsors. So so we were talking a little bit before about the human body, and it's a mystery and a wonder of how the whole thing functions. So have you ever had any, I don't want to say dreams about something, some quality, physical quality that you've always wanted, that you were curious, what would it be like if I had this? Like, what would it be like if I had a facelift? Look at that. It looks pretty good. Is there anything you've ever been curious about for something in your body? It could be anything. I wish I had a bigger elbow. I don't know.
Interestingly enough, while I grew up, I always wanted to have dark hair. Don't know why, but very specific. It needed to be black and it needed to be dead straight. So that's the one thing that I would have loved to have. My second option, other than the black and the straight, was very, very curly and red. Guess what? The curly and red. So we got the curly. I actually went to a hairdresser the other day and she told me that I have naturally curly hair, which I never did. I never knew that. I thought I had straight hair that just frizzes a lot. She said, no, you actually have curly hair. And I'm like, yeah. One of my dreams actually came true. Just look at that. The color, of course. Yeah, we can always change that, right?
You know what else
So,
is fun is getting a wig. Have you ever bought a wig?
no, I have not.
So I have for Halloween, I was Cleopatra one year because I always thought she was amazing. And I have a straight black wig with the hair because I always wanted to have straight black hair. And I went to a hairdresser that I've been seeing for years, and she said, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. It's not going to look good. You have to have a certain skin tone to have black hair. And then the other thing is, and my hair is long. I would say it's about the same length as yours, maybe a little bit shorter. And people are always telling me I need to cut it because I'm too old. No, I don't care. I'm not curious about what they think. I don't care. But the cool thing is you can go into a wig place and you could try on wigs just to see what you would look like before you get your hair done.
That is so clever. I have never tried on a wig. I have, however, so this is another weird thing with me, is I've always had long hair. Well, almost always. I had a very weird, I call it a potty cut, right? So my hair was cut like that when I was little. Looked like you took a pot, put it on my head, and then just cut
potty.
So it's a potty cut. Yes, that's what I call it. I don't know what the actual style name was. So I had it like that when I was really little. And then I, convinced my parents, I guess. Don't know how I got to my long hair, but I did have long hair basically throughout school. My whole school term that I've been in school, I had long hair. And then just after leaving school, I cut my hair short. Not pixie short, but short enough. And I had that for about 2 haircuts worth. So the one where I actually cut it short, and the second one so that it maintains its style. And then after that, I said to the hairdresser, maybe I need to go back to longer hair again because this is not working for me. And I went, it of course took ages and ages because my hair takes a long time to grow, but it took its time and it grew out eventually. And I have had long hair since. So Dr. JACALYN, I'm with you. If people want me in short hair, that's their problem, not mine. I like my hair the way it is. Plus, with long hair, I can do so much more. I mean, I can have it loose. I can have it tied up. I can do all sorts of plaits and things. So they're a lot more fun than short hair, because short hair, you typically have in one, maybe if you're lucky, 2 styles, and that's it. So no, I like longer hair. Works for me.
And you know what's a really good point to what you just said? My hairdresser said to me that people think that when they get their hair cut short or into a style, you just wake up and there it is. No, you actually have to fix it. But with long hair, like you see, I just put mine on top of the head. I have a couple of hair jewels in, which I love. And during the pandemic, I see we're running out of time again, but during the pandemic, I don't know, for whatever reason, it was a lot, right? Isolation. I'm taking care of my mom's, the whole thing. I just got up at 3:00 in the morning and I looked and I was like, wow, it looks like I have some split ends over here. So I just started cutting them because I have actually hairdresser's scissors. And before you know it, it was like 4:00 in the morning and I'm still cutting my hair. And it was getting shorter and shorter. And I thought to myself, I think what's going on is really impacting me. So then my hair was super short. It was uneven. I was coloring it myself from a box. It was a nightmare. So I bought some wigs online and I did some research. Like, I didn't realize there's different quality of wigs. There's human hair. There's this, there's that. So I actually have 3 wigs that I had them on like a dummy head, like you're supposed to. And then I just thought, this is stupid. I'm never wearing these again. So I put them in the boxes and I probably will sell them. But it's not an easy thing to wear because it's itchy. And these are good wigs. I mean, they were not a few $100s. That's a lot of money for a wig, I think. So I'm happy that I did that. And I said to myself, you will not cut your own hair again. Bad, bad, bad. So
I can say that, did I ever cut my hair? I'll need to ask my mom. I most probably did when I was little. And in all likelihood, just one piece of it. And then I got in trouble for it. I do remember, however, cutting my Barbie doll's hair.
Oh, yes.
Now that got me into trouble. It also got me to not get another doll for quite some time, unfortunately. So yes, do not cut your own hair. Typically bad idea.
You know what? We've all had our Barbies, and yeah, let's do another show on Barbies. And in fact, I don't even know where they are actually. I have Barbies that are designer Barbies, like Ralph Lauren, Dior, Chanel. They have their little outfits and little shoes, and there's even a Ken. But that's Ken. We'll save Ken for another day because we've got another show coming up. So Mariska, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you, and who would you like to contact you?
So if you are a leader or an aspiring leader, so stepping into leadership, and you are curious about how to become the leader that you wish you had, you can get into contact with me via my email address, which is Mariska, MARISKA, @journey2discover.com. Or alternatively, you can also find me on LinkedIn. So on my website, you will also see that there is a place where you can contact me there. And on LinkedIn, of course, just give me a direct message and we can have our conversation from there. So that is how you get into contact with me. And of course, any other curiosities that you might have around leadership, you can also contact me for those.
Fantastic. And thank you again for everyone who is continuing to support our journey, which is world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. Thank you to our friends at E360 TV. We really appreciate you distributing this. And we will be back with our next show, which is You as a Whole, Body, Mind, and Soul. Mariska and I will see you next week. And Mariska, when is your Talking Heads? It's the second week of May. Is that right?
That is correct. Yes.
I'm going to remember Journey to Discover and second week for Talking Heads. That's all right, my friend. Enjoy your cold winter day there as I'm into our hot spring night over here.
Well, enjoy the spring and I will enjoy coziness on my side.
Fantastic. Great seeing you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/usaglobaltv. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.